What is up, everybody? M Novo coming at you with another one. I thought we would check in on Bitcoin and in on that. Excuse me for a second. We would check in on Bitcoin and that dump. So we had the ascending triangle. We're expecting a dump and then a violent push to the upside. So the general term or the general direction we were looking for still is up. However, the Bitcoin pie indicator was calling for a top within 3 days of 3 days of this target here. So either 3 days before or 3 days after. And lo and behold, quite surgical, if you ask me. And then we saw a potential rollover, and boy, did we ever see a rollover. This was a monster scare, and then showing a bounce back up and some resistance right about there as we closed. Now we're going sideways. So is the dump over? Let's look at some support lines. I think we can turn these guys off. We're not going anywhere near that right now. And I think we can turn that off. Actually, that was that resistance point that we were talking about. How we kept skirting it, and then we had a lower point under it, showing a rollover and expecting a pullback. And could be that this is not done. This could be similar to a larger 3-bar play on the weekly. It's not that engulfing, but if this closes off like this, it would be like one of these, maybe 2 or 3 consolidations, and then another big red candle of death. Would be nice to see one like that, and then straight down to our target down around here, at which we'll start to consolidate. What's it look like on monthly? And that would kind of play out with the 3-bar play to the upside, right? Bang. And our final target somewhere around $1.80. I'm starting to wonder if the $1.80 will happen this year or if it'll continue into the next year, but that's way off into the future. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right now, we're just trying to find out what is the general direction of this pullback, and is it over? I want to say that we've had a directional change. We're consolidating, and we should continue down again, but the volume really has to drop off so that this thing tires out and continues to the downside. And it looks like we may build up and then find resistance on these higher moving averages to push us, to continue pushing us to the downside. Let me just turn on the 20 and the 50. There's the 20. There's the 50. By the way, if you're interested in this down the rabbit hole indicator, it's a melange of different indicators all rolled into the one, so that if you don't have a subscription, you can have multiple indicators on. I think you're only allowed 2 or 3 if you don't have a paid subscription, so kind of helps you out there. And the 20 and the 50 is basically where price is being followed, and the 50 seems to be the resistive point, and we're starting to challenge it. But if we don't have strength to punch through this strongly, let me zoom in. Once we start meeting the 111 and the 200, that's probably just going to be further pressure to continue to the downside. So this may not be over. The only saving grace here is that tangent right there. So this could be our new triangle, at which point the triangle See how all the moving indicators are all heading right about here, and so is price. Our resistive point might be about there. Let's draw a line. And then it could be we're going to see like one of those where it come up, some sort of connective resistance here to push us further down to the downside. And then we have a potential triple bottom, I guess, the wick, that support bounce, the support bounce here again. Oops. Right click and then delete. There we go. And then maybe further resistance as we come back down and start testing down around here. If we go to weekly, will that look a little clearer to us? Yeah, so this essentially is where we're thinking price might go. And it could be, that could be another bounce line here. So we haven't met this section here. So, that was that bounce on that section here. We haven't met it yet. And then we have to find resistance, at which point resistance will likely be up here. And it all depends on the news, right? What's CNN going to say? Or not CNN. Oh God, the acronyms are, I don't know, Bloomberg, whatever, any of those guys. If they want to get in, they're not going to tell you it's the time to get in. So yeah, if we do have a triple bottom bounce, maybe we come up to here, resist, and then continue down. So I have a feeling we're going to be stuck in this triangle for a while. And then somewhere in the summer, we'll start seeing that consolidation roll back up to the upside. I mean, this thing could just continue on up. We're just fighting this 50, and I want to say we're going to lose the battle, and we'll start looking at this guy right here, the 100 and the 111, kind of heading to where I think the bounce is going to be. Maybe it'll be a little later, and this triangle will be a little bit more like so. Don't know yet, but the general direction looks like we may be seeing resistance. There's that 20 right about where we think we're going to have failure, and then come back down. We'll find support here, at which point the 50 will be right about here. We'll find resistance, maybe come back down, test this 111, 100 again, fail, and maybe the 200 will be right about here. That's a lot of predicting of what's going to happen into the future. Anything could happen. We'll just have to watch each ping pong as it breaks out and down and whatever. But where is my arrows? So yeah, we've got a potential 200 here. Style, change it to red. And then we've got, I'll make it the 100. Change it to orange. Man, the thumbnail is going to look crazy. And then we've got the 50. I want to say it might be a little lower, but I don't know, something like that. And then we've got the 20, further down pressure. And maybe a death cross here, let's just say. So things are still looking bearish, if you ask me. Oh, that should be yellow. Let's stick with the plan. And it could be that that's what we're looking at. And this consolidation should be reminiscent of what happened way back in 2013. And I don't have it here. If you go to BLX, well, I might as well just do it. We have time. BLX. So this pullback is an interpretation of this run, but let's go to log scale. I think that we are going to echo what happened here. And this is why I think maybe due on the cross of the 1618 and the 111, we're about 90%. The top would be 90% down to here, right? In reverse. It's hard for me to explain it without showing it, but I think ultimately, well, that's a little high, but you get the drift, around 90%. So we would go 90% down to where this, can't quite get it anyways, around 90% down to here. And I think we are right here. So what kind of percentage drop did we expect to happen here? I mean, 80% violent dump, right? This was violent. Let me go bars. Make sure I got the right number. I don't know if it'll go 80% again. But if we do, where are you? BTC, USDT. Whoa, look at that mess. Let's do a drop from, not sure where that is, but close this. See, now 30% doesn't look all that bad, does it? And that's testing support. If this ends up being a drop and then resistance and then further down, I mean, that's going to scare people right out. So that's 50% right there. I think that's still doable as well. 80%. That would be a major pullback sitting right about there. Looking left, look where the all-time high was. Pretty much right about there. And if that happens, like I said, the violence heading back up once this consolidates, I think if we ever got down here, we'd probably be looking at $1 million to the upside. Who knows? But let's not worry about that right now. That's a lot of speculation. In fact, just speculating what's going to happen in this move right here is more than enough for us to digest. But I think hopefully you watch the whole video and not just look at thumbnails. But I think that's what we are looking for while we try and search for support. So I think we're still going to work our way down. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out with regards to the moving averages. The moving averages obviously tell the story of what has happened, not what's going to happen. And the traders will look at it and assume where resistance is going to happen. And then the algos will be obviously trading to push to the downside, right? So there is our lines that we're playing with. That seems to play out well with what we're looking at also. And then obviously these are the lines that we should start thinking about consolidating and then taking positions to go long again. But right now, if you are buying, you're just buying every sale on the way down the staircase. Um, because I don't think this is over yet. So there you go. I think I'm zoomed in enough for the thumbnail. Please don't tell me that it's spaghetti and messy and all that. I understand that. I could delete all this and then that's the thumbnail, but people want to see how I'm looking at things, and this is what I think is going to play out. And if it does, well, then now we understand the story, how it plays out, and hopefully we can start forecasting uh, ourselves. Anyway, that's it. I'm rambling on. That's Bitcoin. Trade safe.